On this channel, Million Dollars Made Easy, we love to run numbers for people. What we do is use the returns for the last 100 years of the S&P 500 and project ahead what you might have in the future. I've developed spreadsheets around that concept. I like to help out, number one, the young adult who's first starting out, maybe doesn't have anything saved up, see what they might have after possibly 40, 35, 40, 45 years. I also like to help out the middle-aged persons that somewhat through their working career maybe has some saved up for retirement, would like to know what if they put in so much a month, how much they might have maybe in 25 or 30 years. And we also like to help the retiree who is already retired, has a nest egg, wants to know how long his money will last if he withdraws certain amounts. In other words, I've developed this channel to help most everyone. I want to tell you, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just someone who loves numbers and wants to help people to see the awesome power of compounding. Be prepared to be amazed. I've got this request from I would call them a middle-aged couple. They're 38, young couple in my book, but 38. They currently have $250,000 saved up. 250. This is what we can do with this channel. We run numbers. We can pick a monthly amount. We can increase that by a certain percentage if they want. What we do is run the numbers for every single year for the last 100 years using the returns from the S&P 500. Again, these are the returns. These are the numbers we use. The reds are the down years, the greens are the positive years, and we just run the numbers, and that's why we like to run it for at least 30, 35 years, because you're going to get, yes, you're going to have some down years, but you're going to get the good years too. And so we end up ending up with a range that we come up with. So I'm going to go and update this for every single year for the last 100 years for each of these time periods, 25, 27, up through 35. This couple's 38 years old, so I assume they're looking probably at the 27-year column, which would be they're near 65, or maybe when they reach full retirement Social Security age of 67. But here are the actual numbers. This is what would have happened in the past 100 years. And like I said, we project ahead what might happen in the future. I want you to look at specific at the 27-year column. Again, they're putting in $250,000. They aren't adding another dime. And I'll explain what's going on here in a minute. So in this scenario, the worst case scenario in the last 100 years for a 27-year period, you'd have $2.1 million. The median in this column would be 3.8, and the maximum is 10 million. We always like to take into account inflation because 27 years from now, these amounts aren't going to have the same buying power. So that's what these amounts right here would have the buying power. In other words, this 2.1 million would have the buying power of just under $1 million and so on. But I wanted to also run the numbers. They said, well, first of all, I want to look at this for just a second here. How many times would you have over $3 million? There's been 74 27-year periods in the last 101 years. 53 times in those 27-year periods, you would have had over $3 million just starting out with 250,000 and not adding a dime. 25 times highlighted in blue, you would actually have over 5 million right here. And it's actually 15 times you'd have over 7 million highlighted in gold. But they wanted to know, they've been putting in 2,000 a month. And they're starting to think maybe they ought to set aside some for their kids' college, which is very understandable. But I'm going to go ahead and run what they would have if they kept contributing 2,000 a month, beginning with this 250,000. Again, they're 38 years old. We're looking at the 27-year column. You probably should be looking at the 29-year column. But look at these numbers, folks. I mean, they're just mind-boggling. After 27 years, they would have put in 898,000. The minimum in this column is 4.323 with a buying power of almost 2 million. So that's the worst case scenario. And some of these numbers are just mind-boggling. Probably should raise some of these, but 67 times you'd have over 5 million, 39 times you'd have over $7 million. That might influence their decision whether to cut back a little bit. They want to know if they should cut back and start thinking about their kids' college and everything and how much to fund that. They also said to run it for 1,000 a month. Remember, they're used to running 2,000. If they just did 1,000 a month, we'll go ahead and run these numbers. In that case, they will have put in 574,000 over that 27-year period. Again, the worst case scenario would have been 3.283 million with a buying power of 1.5 million after 27 years. But that's what we can do with this channel, run numbers for people. If you start looking at the 29-year column, that's even more impressive. If they go till their age 67, even not contributing any more. Let's update that again because I just updated it for 1,000 a month. I want to go back to the numbers we had. If they just if they just don't add any more to that 250,000, again, they would put the 250,000 in. Here's a minimum 2 million for the 29-year column. That's the worst case scenario, which actually is 1929. And you can see 1929 was kind of a problematic because this 250,000 was knocked down to 89,000 after 4 years. Of course, they're not putting anything more in, but if they just hung on, if they had they've got 29 years. That's what's so magical about the compounding effect of the S&P 500 or any investment that's paying you anything. Uh, the amount of money that you can have after 29, 35 years. Look at those numbers. But in this case, 250,000 would amount to the least amount would be $2 million. The median in this column would be 4.729. So hopefully this makes them helps them with their decision if they want to go with keep going with 1,000 a month and maybe set 1,000 a month aside for their college. Because 1,000 a month is 12,000 times. They said the oldest child is 13, so they'd have 5 years contributing 12,000. That is $60,000 for that older child. But anyway, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just running numbers for you. I just love doing it. Let's go back and look at the $1,000 column or $1,000 a month for the 29-year column. Again, you would have put in 598,000. The minimum would be $4.3 million. Let me go ahead and change something here. Okay, I changed the color coding because that kind of helps to see. In the 29-year column, there's been 74. Oops, we need to change this to 29 here. Bear with me. Okay, there's been 72 29-year periods in the last 101 years. 66 of those times, you would have had $5 million given this 250,000 and 1,000 a month. You can see those, they're still in gray. It's a little bit under 5 million, but 66 times you had over 5 million. They're highlighted in green. Right here, we're looking at the 29-year column when they're 67. 28 times they have over $8 million. They're highlighted in blue. And look at this, 21 times they have over $10 million. That's just contributing to the 1,000 a month. Again, if we go and look at the 2,000 a month, the numbers would be that much larger. But they just want to know what they might have with not contributing anymore, contributing 1,000 a month, and contributing 2,000 a month. Hopefully, this gives them some rough ideas that they're well on the way to being very well off, even if they don't even contribute anymore, but especially if they contribute 1,000 a month, and absolutely if they contribute 2,000 a month. But hopefully that helps them with their planning. That's what we do on this channel. We love to run numbers for people. Again, I'm just a numbers person, not a financial advisor. If you're, I just love to have you subscribe to this channel and tell your friends about it. Let them know there's a channel out there that'll run numbers for them and help them with their financial planning. In order to run numbers for you, just give me your beginning balance, your monthly contribution, and if you want me to increase that at all, I'll do that. And it's really neat if you can run it for at least 30 or more years. In this case, that you saw what they had after 27 and 29 years. But please like the video, and thanks so much for watching.